Yeah, well, I hope you get raped on the way, too.
The mother never imagined that a single angry remark she'd tossed at her daughter would end up coming true, word for word. That day, her daughter was brutally murdered near 3 roadside billboards. 7 months have passed since then, and the killer is still out there, walking free. Mildred can't bring herself to accept that her daughter's case has just quietly stalled out, and something dark starts taking shape in her mind. She empties her savings and rents out those same 3 billboards near the crime scene, putting up 3 lines of text. The moment the ad company owner reads what's on them, he already knows exactly who she is.
I guess you're Angela Hayes' mother.
That's right. I'm Angela Hayes' mother.
This is the woman, thin, worn down, but unbreakable, who's about to turn the whole town upside down. That night, Officer Dixon, just off work, passes the billboards and freezes, speechless at what he reads.
Fuck me.
Against the blood-red background, a few blunt lines of text hit like a punch to the gut. Before long, furious police officers show up at the ad company, demanding to know who bought the billboards. But the owner refuses to say, citing client confidentiality, though honestly, it isn't hard to guess.
Fuck. Mildred Hayes, perhaps? Ain't at liberty to divulge that kind of information, Chief.
You really want to fuck with the Ebbing Police Department, Red? Do ya?
I guess.
Dixon, always quick to anger, can't hold it in. Sheriff Willoughby has always been like a father figure to him, someone he deeply respects, so he storms out, threatening to tear the ad man's head off. Thankfully, Willoughby arrives just in time to stop him, but neither of them realizes Mildred's plan is only just getting started. She doesn't stop at the billboards, publicly calling out the police department's incompetence. She brings in reporters too, making sure the story keeps growing.
I don't know what the police are doing, to be honest with you. I do know that my daughter's burnt body is lying 6 feet underground. All they're doing is eating Krispy Kremes and busting 8-year-olds for skating around parking lots.
And Chief Willoughby, why single him out?
He's ahead of him, ain't he? The buck's got to stop somewhere.
And the buck stops at Willoughby.
Yeah, the buck stops at Willoughby. Dead right it does.
Her bold move puts the whole thing in the spotlight, but almost nobody rallies behind her. Nearly the entire town sides with Willoughby instead. After all, he's always been well respected around here. Mildred becomes public enemy number 1 because of it. But to catch the man who killed her daughter, she's willing to go up against the entire world if she has to. Not long before all this, she'd gone through a divorce after enduring domestic abuse, and now it's just her son, and her daughter. Well, was. Being a mother is the last identity she has left, the only one she still takes pride in, and she'll defend it to the death. Anger is the sharpest weapon she has. Before long, Willoughby personally shows up at her door, ready to confront her, but instead of directing his frustration at her, he's humble and explains the full situation with the case. They've done everything they can to find the killer, but the DNA collected doesn't match any suspect, and there were no witnesses at the scene. With so little to go on, there's only so much they can do.
I'm doing everything I can to track him down. I don't think those billboards is very fair.
The time it took you to get out here whining like a bitch, Willoughby, some other poor girl's probably out there being butchered right now, but I'm glad you got your priorities straight. I'll say that for you.
Reluctantly, Willoughby reveals another secret. He's actually dying of cancer, with very little time left, and he's hoping Mildred might grant a dying man some measure of dignity. Mildred just says, flatly, that she already knew. Willoughby is stunned into silence.
Huh?
I know it. Most everybody in town knows it.
And you still put up those billboards?
Well, they wouldn't be as effective after you croak, right?
He'd expected this to soften her, but Mildred's demeanor stays just as cold and sharp as ever. Realizing there's nothing more to say, he leaves, defeated. But Mildred's troubles are only just beginning. That same night, the town priest, another Willoughby supporter, shows up at her house, speaking on behalf of the whole town, demanding she take down the billboards, only to be left speechless by what she says back to him.
You know what I was thinking about today? And I was thinking about that bunch of new laws I came up with in the 1980s, I think it was, to combat those street gangs, those Crips and those Bloods. And if I remember rightly, the gist of what those new laws were saying was, if you join one of these gangs and you're running with them, well then, even though you may not know nothing about it, and even though you may have just been standing on a street corner minding your own business, What these new laws said was, you're still culpable. Which got me thinking, Father, that whole type of situation is kind of like you church boys, ain't it? You got your colors, you got your clubhouse, you're, for want of a better word, a gang. And if you're upstairs smoking a pipe and reading your Bible, while one of your fellow gang members is downstairs fucking an altar boy, well, Father, just like those Crips and just like those Bloods, you're culpable. 'Cause you joined the gang, man. I don't care if you never did shit, you never saw shit, you never heard shit. You joined the gang, you're culpable. And when a person is culpable to altar boy fucking or any kind of boy fucking, because I know you guys didn't really narrow that down, then you kind of forfeit the right to come into my house and say anything about me or my life or my daughter or my billboards. So why don't you just finish up your tea there, Father, and get the fuck out of my kitchen?
The priest, a man everyone respects, gets shut down for the first time in his life. He never expected a grieving mother could be this immovable. Equally caught off guard is the meddling, overweight dentist, who apparently has never heard the phrase, mind your own business, let alone learned when to quit while he's ahead.
And why don't you tell those good friends of Bill Willoughby to tell him to go do his fucking job, fat boy?
Nursing an injured finger, the dentist rushes to file a police report, and Willoughby and Mildred clash again. Just as tensions boil over between them, something unexpected happens. It turns out his cancer is real after all.
I didn't mean to.
I know.
It was an accident.
I know, baby.
It's blood.
I'm gonna go get somebody.
And it turns out he really is the kind of man worth respecting.
Just let her go. Come on, Chief. Just let her go.
Willoughby is already in the late stages of cancer, but as much as the disease is slowly taking his life, it's the unsolved rape and murder case that truly haunts him.
Oh, like I got cancer in a major organ.
Well, I just want you to know we're all on your side about this Mildred Hayes thing.
If I have to hear that one more fucking time, I'm done with this shit. Can't waste my life waiting.
Every day, despite his failing body, he drags himself back to the crime scene, hunting for any new lead. He doesn't want this unsolved case to be the one stain on an otherwise honorable career, and he can't stomach the idea of a brutal killer walking free forever. He sits beneath those 3 blood-red billboards for hours at a time, an entire day sometimes, but the case never moves forward. Maybe some cases, no matter how much outrage they stir, are simply never meant to be solved. An outsider might understand that, but the person living through it rarely can. And just like Mildred, doesn't Willoughby carry his own quiet guilt about the life he's about to leave behind? Otherwise, where would that gentle, aching baby have come from?
I know.
It was an accident.
I know, baby.
It's blood.
But who really understands Mildred? A mother who lost her daughter and still has no answers, no closure. Even her own son can barely stand what she's doing, telling her that walking past those billboards every day feels like being forced to relive his sister's death over and over.
Thank you, Mom.
Her son slams his bedroom door shut, and the sound of feeling unheard echoes through the house. Making things worse, the ad company comes back to Mildred, claiming the money she'd paid was only a deposit and that keeping the billboards up will require additional rent. Otherwise, they'll be taken down. Faced with this obvious scheme, there's nothing Mildred can do. The trap had been buried in the contract all along. She just hadn't noticed. Right as she's at her wit's end, one of her employees rushes in, saying an anonymous letter just arrived. Inside is a note and some cash.
What's the note say, Red?
Says this here money is to go towards the fund for Mildred Hayes' billboards because she ain't the only one around here who hates the pigs. Signed a friend.
She has no idea who sent it, but the money couldn't have come at a better time.
I guess I'll be needing a receipt off you there, Red.
Willoughby, locked in his standoff with Mildred, doesn't have that same luck. Ever since he started coughing up blood, his condition has only worsened, and he's now confined to long-term hospital treatment. He refuses to just watch his life slip away like this. Rather than waste away in a hospital bed, he'd rather spend what time he has left with the people he loves. So he checks himself out, sets aside the pain and worry for a while, and takes his wife and daughters down to the river. His girls haven't been this happy in a long time. That night, he tucks the kids in and shares a quiet, tender moment with his wife. Once everyone's asleep, he walks out to the stable alone, gives his beloved horse one last pat, then pulls a black cloth bag over his head. On it, written in his own hand, "Don't remove, just call the police." And just like that, he brings his own life to an early end.
My darling Anne, tonight I have gone out to the horses to end it. I cannot say sorry for the act itself, although I know that for a short time you will be angry at me or even hate me for it. Please don't. This is not a case of I came in this world alone and I'm going out of it alone or anything dumb like that. I did not come in this world alone. My mom was there. And I am not going out of it alone, because you were there, drunk on the couch, making Oscar Wilde cock jokes. No, this is a case, in some senses, of bravery. Not the bravery of facing a bullet down. The next few months of pain would be far harder than that small flash. No, it's the bravery of weighing up the next few months of still being with you, still waking up with you, of playing with the kids, against the next few months of seeing in your eyes how much my pain is killing you, how my weakened body as it ebbs away and you tend to it are your final and lasting memories of me. I won't have that. Your final memories of me will be us at the riverside and that dumb fishing game, which I think they cheated at, and me inside of you and you on top of me, and barely a fleeting thought of the darkness yet to come. That was the best, Anne. Whole day of not thinking about it. Dwell on this day, baby, because it was the best day of my life. Kiss the girls for me, and know that I've always loved you. And maybe I'll see you again if there's another place. And if there ain't, well, it's been heaven knowing you. Your boy, Bill.
News of Willoughby's death spreads through the police station almost instantly, and everyone is consumed by grief. Dixon, who respected him more than anyone, sobs like a child. With nowhere to put his overwhelming rage, hatred finally overtakes reason. He grabs his baton and storms across the street to the ad company, and this time, there's no one left who can stop him.
What the hell's going on?
Shut up. See, Red, I got issues with white folks, too. Fuck you looking at?
He doesn't yet realize the black man he's beating is actually the department's newly appointed chief. Dixon gets fired on the spot because of it. Willoughby's death sends shockwaves through the whole town. People point fingers at the ad company and at Mildred, convinced this billboard stunt is what drove the sheriff to his death. When Mildred drops her son off at school, the other kids hand him gifts, dripping with cruelty. Even so, her resolve never wavers.
How about you, sweetheart? You know who threw that can?
No, I didn't really...
Because only she truly understands what it means to lose a daughter. One officer even barges into Mildred's shop, falsely claiming to be her daughter's killer, just to torment her.
Were you?
No, I would have liked to. I saw a picture in the paper there.
Thankfully, the door chime rings just then. It's Willoughby's widow. She resents Mildred too, believing her husband's death is tied to all this. But she hasn't come for revenge. She's here to carry out her husband's final wish. Willoughby left behind 3 letters before he died, one for his family, and the second for Mildred.
Dear Mildred, Dead Man Willoughby here. Firstly, I wanted to apologize for dying without catching your daughter's killer. It's a source of great pain to me, and it would break my heart to think you thought I didn't care, because I did care. There are just some cases where you never catch a break. Then 5 years down the line, some guy hears some other guy bragging about it in a bar room or a jail cell, and the whole thing is wrapped up through sheer stupidity. I hope that might be true for Angela, I really do. Second, I gotta admit, Mildred, the billboards were a great fucking idea. They were like a chess move. And although they had absolutely nothing to do with my dying, I'm sure that everyone in town will assume that they did, which is why, for Willoughby's countermove, I decided to pay the next month's rent on them. I thought it'd be funny, you having to defend them a whole nother month after they've stuck me in the ground. The joke is on you, Mildred, ha ha, and I hope they do not kill you. So good luck with all that, and good luck with everything else too. I hope and I pray that you get them.
Reading the letter leaves Mildred with a tangle of emotions. It turns out the man who stood most firmly against her was, in his own way, her strongest supporter all along. Not only did he quietly pay off the rest of her billboard fees himself, in some sense, he wanted to catch the killer even more desperately than she did. In that moment, Mildred decides she has to carry his resolve forward, no matter what. But on her drive home from work, she spots flames roaring up from the billboards in the distance. She pulls over immediately.
You go get the other one from the house.
Shouldn't I call the fire department?
Fuck the fire department. They probably started it.
Ignoring her son's protests, she grabs a fire extinguisher and rushes in, managing to put out the fire on the first billboard by herself. But by the time she reaches the second one, the flames have grown too fierce, and she has to climb up and spray from above, only for the extinguisher to run dry. Luckily, her son arrives just in time with another extinguisher, and together they manage to put out the second fire. But by then, the third billboard is already collapsing, engulfed in flames. Her son desperately tries to hold her back. Running toward it now would mean certain death, but only Mildred knows that burning billboard is everything to her.
Robbie, leave it! Please! Robbie!
She drags the extinguisher toward it, stumbling, but it's already too late. The fire seems to have burned away her last reserves of iron will along with the billboard. She feels the strength that's carried her all this time slipping away, replaced by an exhaustion and helplessness she's never felt before.
I'll crucify the motherfucker.
But with nothing left to lose, what is there left to fear?
What are you gonna do, Mildred? You gonna crucify him?
Yeah, I'm gonna crucify him.
Who are you gonna crucify? The motherfuckers?
Yeah, I'm gonna crucify the motherfuckers.
Ooh, then those motherfuckers better watch out. All right?
If none of you are going to let me live in peace, then none of you get to either.
Fucking A.
The next day, the same media that's always quick to follow the wind shows up at the charred remains of the billboards, declaring that this fire has finally put Willoughby's spirit to rest and that surely Mildred will give up now. But they've underestimated this unbreakable woman. She reappears before everyone, more determined than ever.
This doesn't put an end to shit, you fucking retard. This is just a fucking start. Why don't you put that on your Good Morning Missouri fucking wake-up broadcast, bitch?
That night, dressed head to toe in black, Mildred shows up outside the police station. Real vengeance is about to unfold. The grief over her daughter has turned into pure fury.
Fuck 'em.
A row of Molotov cocktails becomes the blade of her revenge, one after another, giving voice to every ounce of grief buried inside her. Watching the flames climb higher and higher, something inside Mildred begins to thaw. Nobody expects that the last bottle she throws will end up blasting straight into an officer who happens to be reading a letter at that exact moment. Dixon scrambles up off the ground, completely disoriented. He was just reading a letter, so what on earth just happened? The old Dixon would have panicked instantly, but this isn't the same hot-tempered man anymore. A letter Willoughby left behind changed him completely. That morning, after being fired, Dixon had gotten a call from the station asking him to return his keys and to pick up a letter. Willoughby's third letter had been addressed to him all along. That night, alone in the empty station, he read words that cut straight to the heart. Willoughby always believed Dixon had it in him to become a great officer, but only if he could let go of his hot temper. Anger and hatred, he wrote, were never tools for solving anything. They only ever made things worse. To become a real officer, Dixon first needed to learn to love, because love is what allows for calm, and calm is what allows for clear thinking. And clear thinking is the sharpest weapon any detective could ever carry, more powerful than any gun. If he could learn to love, he could become the man he'd always wanted to be. The letter hits Dixon right where it counts, pulling him into deep thought. With his headphones on, he has no idea the station outside is already engulfed in flames, not until Mildred's final Molotov cocktail sails straight into the building. Facing down the raging fire, Dixon is strangely calm. His instincts as an officer kick in immediately, and the first thing he thinks of is Mildred's daughter's case file. Holding on to Willoughby's words, he tucks the file against his chest.
Come. Come. Come.
Without a second of hesitation, he charges straight into the flames, enduring the searing pain, and manages to hurl the case file to safety. Mildred, assuming the station was empty, freezes completely when she sees what Dixon risked his life to save, her daughter's case file. A flood of conflicting emotions hits her all at once. This woman who's refused to back down through everything finally starts to waver. For the very first time, badly burned, Dixon is rushed to the hospital, where, in the bed across from him, lies the very ad company owner he'd nearly beaten to death earlier. The owner doesn't even recognize the bandage-wrapped mummy in front of him, and seeing that he can't move well, kindly offers to bring him some juice. Peering through the gaps in his bandages at the owner's battered face, Dixon feels a wave of grief and guilt.
Don't cry. You'll be okay.
I'm sorry, Wilby.
You know me?
I'm sorry.
Sorry for what?
Throwing you out the window.
The realization finally hits the owner. He shakes with rage, breathing hard.
I'm sorry, man.
I don't care. Stop fucking crying, god damn it. This all will just fuck up your wounds.
I thought salt was supposed to be good for your wounds.
What am I, fucking doctor?
But in the end, he still hands the juice over to Dixon, even thoughtfully turning the straw toward him. That small act of forgiveness stirs something in Dixon all over again. After being discharged, Dixon heads to a bar to drown his sorrows and overhears a man bragging to his friend about brutally murdering a girl once. The details matching Mildred's daughter's case almost exactly. The old, hot-tempered Dixon would have exploded on the spot, but this time, he stays eerily calm. He steps outside, memorizes the man's license plate, then casually walks back in, pretending to do a magic trick, and rakes his fingernails hard across the man's face. The man explodes with rage instantly, slamming Dixon to the ground and beating him savagely.
I lost my badge. Can't remember where I lost it.
Battered and bruised, Dixon drags himself home with the last of his strength, ignoring his mother's worried questions, and locks himself in the bathroom. With a small knife, he carefully scrapes bits of the man's skin out from under his fingernails and seals them in a test tube. The next day, Dixon rushes to find Mildred, telling her not to give up. That man might really be the killer. Looking at Dixon, covered in wounds, Mildred sees a shadow of Willoughby in him, and something in her softens.
Hey, Dixon. Thank you.
After leaving Mildred, Dixon heads to the station and hands the DNA sample he collected over to the new chief. The chief praises his initiative, but Dixon couldn't care less about that. All he wants to know is whether this man is really the killer. Unfortunately, once they run the tests, it turns out he isn't. His DNA doesn't match the suspect profile. He's a soldier, and he was stationed in Iraq at the time of the murder, meaning he couldn't possibly have done it. As for why he was bragging about it, maybe he committed some other crime while deployed. Or maybe he was simply lying for shock value. Either way, he has nothing to do with the murder of Mildred's daughter. Dixon can't accept it. The details the man described were far too specific to be made up. Even if he isn't the killer in this case, he's clearly done something terrible and deserves to face justice one way or another. but the chief tells him there's nothing more he can do. Dixon goes home dejected, pulls out a hunting rifle, and sits with it for a long while before finally deciding to tell Mildred the disappointing news himself. The moment Mildred hears it, she can't hold back any longer. For the first time, her voice breaks and tears fall. That last flicker of hope is gone.
Mildred?
Are you sure?
He wasn't even in the country when it happened. I'm sorry I got your hopes up.
That's all right. That's all right. At least I had a day of hoping, and that's more than I've had for a while. I gotta go.
But right then, Dixon has a new idea.
There was one thing I was thinking.
What's that?
I know he isn't your rapist. He is a rapist, though. I'm sure of that.
What are you saying to me?
Got his license plate. I know where he lives.
Where does he live?
Lives in Idaho.
That's funny. I'm driving to Idaho in the morning.
Want some company?
Sure.
After hanging up the phone, Dixon says goodbye to his mother, and Mildred says goodbye to her son. Both of them have finally set down their anger, though a trace of it still lingers. And together, they set off on a journey to find whatever justice they still can. This time, at least, neither of them is alone. This is the 2017 film 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Anger runs through the entire film like an undercurrent, but at its core, it's really a story about love and tenderness. Consumed by guilt over her daughter's death, Mildred keeps searching for the truth, hoping it might ease that guilt. But as the truth grows further and further out of reach, the anger inside her only builds until it finally erupts into tragedy.
Fuck him.
Dixon, too, is swallowed by his own anger. He walks around with headphones on at all times, refusing to engage with anyone, and for a long time, anger and violence were the only tools he knew for solving problems. Sheriff Willoughby sits at the center of this whole Billboard saga, and he's one of the few characters in the film who never lets anger control him. Yet cancer still corners him completely, and in the end, to spare his family the burden and end his own suffering, he chooses to take his life early. If the 3 billboards were the spark that lit this fire of anger, then the 3 letters Willoughby left behind were what finally put it out. If hatred makes people slaves to their emotions, then love is what makes people the masters of them. You might think this is just another tired answer cruelty with kindness story, but it's not quite that simple. Truly resolving anger and hatred requires honoring both the emotional truth inside a person and the larger sense of justice outside them, and finding the right way to hold both at once. That's probably exactly the philosophy Willoughby lived by. If he'd simply met cruelty with kindness across the board, he'd just be a pushover, not someone capable of earning the kind of respect he had in that town. He understood that the sharp-tongued, fierce woman everyone saw in Mildred wasn't some irredeemable villain, so instead of meeting her anger with more anger, he tried in his own way to pull her back from the edge of that hatred. In the same way, the hot-headed, volatile Dixon that everyone else saw wasn't a lost cause in his eyes either. Beneath that defiant exterior, he saw a strong sense of justice and responsibility, and he never stopped believing Dixon could become a good officer.
Where the hell you keep that man on?
He's a good man at heart.
Tortured a guy in custody, Bill.
There was no real evidence to support that.
It's precisely because he carried that kind of deep compassion that Willoughby earned the respect of an entire town. By this point, you might still be caught up wondering who the real killer is, still trying to sort out who's good and who's bad. But maybe what this film really wants us to see is just how terrifying the power of hatred and anger can be, and just how much stronger the power of love and forgiveness truly is. The film seems to have anticipated all along that we'd get stuck trying to divide everyone into good and bad, which is why, right at the start, the book in the ad company owner's hands already gives us the answer. It's called A Good Man is Hard to Find by the brilliant American writer Flannery O'Connor, whose stories always manage to find a glimmer of goodness, even within the darkest tragedies. Stories that stay hopeful, even against the bleakest backdrop. There's really no such thing as a purely good or purely bad person in this world, and this film reflects exactly that. We might see Mildred's methods as selfish and extreme, but then how should we feel about that meddling, overweight dentist? Admire him or resent him? If we find ourselves just as annoyed by his minding everyone else's business while lecturing them on being good, then maybe, while judging Mildred for being selfish or extreme, it's worth pausing to ask ourselves, maybe we're the dentist in this story more often than we'd like to admit. A truly great film always has more depth than any single conversation can capture. And 3 Billboards, outside Ebbing, Missouri is no exception. Given the limits of space and my own understanding, I can only cover a small slice of it here. If this story resonates with you, I'd really encourage you to watch the film yourself. I think you'll walk away from it with a lot to sit with. May you always hold on to clarity and never let anger cloud your judgment. That's the story for today. If there's a movie you'd like to see covered, let me know in the comments and subscribe for more great content.